Okay, so today we will talk about linear algebra. Linear algebra and the Leontief model. Okay, so linear algebra is that area of mathematics that is used when we have multiple equations, or system of equation, and we have multiple variables or multiple unknowns. Okay, so we solve these equations and we try to find what these unknowns are. Okay, and we try to find that value of those unknowns. Okay, so for example, you can have any system of equation. Okay, so in general form I can just write, there is a system of equation like a11 x1 plus a12 x2 till a1 n x n, okay, is equal to something, let's say b1. Okay, so this is one equation. Okay, now in this linear equation we know that this a, okay, is coefficient of x1. Okay, and similarly this a12 is coefficient of x2. Okay, so these are coefficient. Okay, now the notation 1 1. Okay, so as we are going to have multiple system of equations now, so we have to be clear about interpretation of each and every coefficient that we are dealing with. Okay, so this a11 means that this is the coefficient of the first variable of the first equation. Okay, first coefficient of the first variable of the equation 1. Okay, similarly uh, we can have a21 x1 plus a22 x2 till a2n xn is equal to b2. Okay, so again, second equation, coefficient of first variable, and so on. We can have multiple equation, system of equation. Let's say we have n equations, so this is am1 x1 plus am2 x2 till amn xn is equal to bm. Okay, so this is just a general example of system of equations, okay, that we can come across. Now these kind of equations we can face these in many streams, for example in economics. Okay, so this is a system of equation. Okay, and just to make this clear, that the notation or the interpretation of this a11 is going to be the coefficient of the first variable of the first in the first equation. Okay, so if I have a general coefficient like aij, so this is the coefficient of the jth variable of ith equation. Okay, coefficient of the jth variable of ith equation. So if I have some aij xj, so jth variable, okay, of the ith equation. Okay, so first we write the, so in this notation, in this subscript, first we are writing which equation it is, and then we write what variable, okay, is that particular coefficient associated with. Okay, okay, so now these kind of system of equations, or we can say the application of algebra, okay, in economics we can look in what we call the Leontief model. Okay, Leontief model. Now what is this Leontief model? Again, this is also a system of equation. Okay, uh, given by an given by economists. Okay, now this Leontief model, okay, looks into the relationship, the input output relationship. Okay, we call it the input output model. Okay, so this input output model looks into how different industries in an economy interact. Okay, and how they are interrelated to each other. Okay, so for example, I have a good, let's say I am producing steel. Okay, so now this steel, okay, can be used as an input in different industries. So steel requirement of steel is as an input in different industries, but there could be also a final consumption or direct consumption requirement. Okay, for making some things with steel. Okay, so both types of consumptions can be there. Okay, so uh, here we will say that the demand for steel, or the total demand for steel, is equal to input demand. Input demand is when this product is used as an input in different industries, that is input demand. Okay, when it is being demanded as an input in other industries. Okay, plus there is something called final demand. Okay, we also call it external demand. Okay, so final demand or external demand. Okay, some of this will give you the total demand for that particular product in your economy. Okay, so these kind of relationships were explained by this Leontief model, the input and output relationships. Okay, now see, in one economy you can have multiple goods that are being produced. Okay, so let's say there is a good one, there is a good two, there is a good three. Okay, and so good one is also used as an input in its own industry, and it is also used as an input in industry 2, and also as an input in industry 3. Okay, so the total demand for this good one, okay, and there will be maybe some external demand also for one, which I'll say is b1. Okay, so total demand of this one, when the producer is producing good one, okay, they will keep in mind that my own industry will need some quantity of this good one. Industry 2 will also ask for some quantity of good one. Industry 3 will also ask for some quantity of good one for input purposes. And there is some consumers, like direct consumption demand for this good one also. Okay. So keeping this in mind, he will produce accordingly. Okay. So this is denoted, or this is shown by this Leontief model. Okay, so let's look into some notations. Okay, so for example, if we have n industries in my economy, okay, if we have n industries in my economy, okay, so xi, so let's look into some notations first. So xi, okay, xi is the total number of units of good I. So there is a good I, okay, and xi will be the total number of goods I that industry I will produce. Okay, so if suppose my good is 1, okay, then x1 is how much quantity of good one is produced by industry 1. Okay, so let's say my good one is steel. Okay, so x steel or xs, but whatever notation you want to give. Okay, so x steel is how much units of steel are being produced by the steel industry. That is the total production of the steel industry. Okay, this is what this xi means. Okay, so xi is how much quantity of a particular uh, good is being produced by in its industry. Okay, so like if the good is paper, then how much paper is being produced by the paper industry, that is xi. Okay, so this xi is total production of that particular good. Okay, so we are denoting this industry with this I. Okay, so the total production of a particular industry in your economy is given by the xi. Okay, then referring back to the system of equation that we did. Okay, there is this a12, number of units of good one, okay, needed needed to produce 1 unit of good 2. Okay, one unit of good 2. Okay, so how many unit of this particular good one is needed to produce just 1 unit of good two? So for example, if let's say plastic is good one, and let's say plastic bag is good two. Okay, so how many unit of plastic is needed to produce 1 unit of plastic bag? Okay, so for example, example example, if my good one is plastic and good two is plastic bag. Okay, so this will mean that how many unit of good one, that is how many unit of plastic is needed to produce 1 unit of plastic bag. Okay, so now this 1 2 can be anything depending on your question, depending on your situation, depending on the industry you are studying. Okay, so this is just a notation that if you get a general Leontief system, then how you will read it. Okay, so you should know the interpretation of this A12. Okay, now again, now see, let's say there is again good one and good two. Okay, uh, so there is good one, which is G1, and good two, which is G2. Okay, I'll say that uh, the total production of good one is x1, and for two is x2. Okay, now now we know that A12 A12, okay, A12 amount of good one is needed to produce 1 unit of good two. Okay, then if I'm producing 10 units of good two, then how many unit of good one I need? Okay, so how many units of good one you need, okay, to produce 10 unit of good two? Again, to produce 1 unit of good two, you need A12 amount of good one. Okay, to produce 1 unit of good two, you need A12 amount of good one. Then if my economy is producing 10 unit of good two, how much amount of good one is needed to produce that 10 units of good two? Okay, so to solve this, all I need to do is uh, good one amount of good one required to produce 1 unit of good two, which is A12. Okay, and then how many units of good one I need to produce 10 units of good two. Okay, so it will be A12 plus A12 plus A12 10 times, which will be 10 into A12. I hope this is clear. Okay, now again let's simplify this more. Okay, for example, I need, let's say, I need, let's say, 2 kg. Okay, 2 kg of wheat to produce let's say one bread, let's say. Okay, example, so I need 2 kg of wheat to produce one bread. So there is an industry making bread, any firm making bread, for example Britannia. Then there is agricultural industry producing wheat. Okay, so wheat is produced by agricultural industry, bread is, let's say, produced by Britannia. Okay, and in general, let's say by industry, bread is produced by industry. Okay, bread is produced by industry, some industry that is converting wheat into bread. Okay, now this industry needs 2 kg of wheat to produce 1 unit of bread. To produce 1 unit of bread, we need 2 kg of wheat. Okay, then if I want to make 10 units of bread, 10 units of bread, uh, then how much wheat I need? That is 2 into 10. Okay, 20 kg. Okay, 2 kg per unit. Okay, so this 2 kg here, okay, is A12, that is So if I'll say that my wheat is good 1 and bread is good 2, then this 2 kg is A12. That is how much good 1 is used to produce 1 unit of good 2. Okay, I hope this is clear, this thing is clear. Okay, so this is what we are trying to use. Okay, so this A12 is giving me the input requirement of good uh, of good 1 as an input in good 2 to produce 1 unit of good 2. Okay, now again, as I have already told you that the final demand I'll I'll use BI. So the final demand for industry I. Okay, final demand or external demand for industry I. Okay, so this is DI. Now again, generalizing everything, if I have industry 1 which is producing x1 of 1, industry 2 producing x2 of 2, and industry 3 producing x3 of 3. Okay, so can you interpret what A11 means, A12 means, and A13 means? Okay, so A11 means how much units of good 1 is needed to produce 1 unit of good 1. Okay, so how much demand is there in its own industry. Okay, A12 again means that how much unit of good 1 are required to produce 1 unit of good 2, and A13 means that how much unit of good 1 is required to produce 1 unit of good 3. I hope this is clear. Okay, so in this economy, so based on what we have done till now, we can write the total demand of good 1, which is denoted by x1 here. Okay, is A11, okay, into x1 plus A12 into x2 plus A13 into x3, and so on. If there are n goes A1, A1, so good 1 needed in industry n into xn, the amount of n that is being produced, plus B1, that is the final demand. Okay, so on, we can just write x2, x3, x4, which you can just do by yourself. And if we have n goods in this economy, so we can just write it like A11, not A11 but AN1, that is the good n needed in industry 1. Okay, let me just, okay, so A n, good n needed to produce 1 unit of good 1 into total production of good 1. Similarly, A and 2, that is good n needed to produce 1 unit of good 2 into total production of good 2, and so on till good n needed in good n into total production of good n plus B n, let's say. Okay, so this system of equation, again we have a system of equation, okay, which is creating my this input output equilibrium. Okay, now this is just a system of equation giving you the input and output, the interdependence of different industries. Okay, now the Leontief system. Leontief system. Leontief system is nothing but when you will rearrange this equation and bring all the x, that is all the unknowns, okay, all the unknowns on one side, and then this b terms on one side. That is, so if I'll just do it for this, and then let's see. So it will be x1 1 minus a11. Okay, so if this will come on this side, it will become x1 minus a11 x1. I'll take x1 common, and this will be the result. Similarly, others will also come to that side. So we are just bringing all the x terms on the other side of this equation. Okay, and then a minus, sorry, minus a13 x3, and so on, minus a1 n x n is equal to b1. Similarly, we will do it for all these. Okay, and in the end I'll get minus a n 1 x1, and then minus a n 2 x2. Okay, till 1 minus a nn into xn is equal to b n. So I have not done anything different, and I've explained you this system of equation. Okay, now I have just rearranged. Okay, so bringing all the x terms on one side and these b from to the other side, we get this kind of equation. Okay, so this is the Leontief system, this one, where I have just brought all these x terms to one single side. Okay, this is Leontief system, and these coefficients, okay, these can be called as input coefficients. Okay, okay, input coefficient, that how much input is needed of one good in the other industry. Okay, so this is how Leontief system is. Okay, so we have just covered some linear algebra, why we use that, some general form of equations, and then how we interpret this Leontief model, what it means, and how we interpret different things, different notations. Okay, so I hope this is clear. If you have any query, you can just put in the comments. Thank you.